Call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Here.
Trustee Dodge?
Here.
Trustee Calandrello?
Here.
Trustee Healy?
Here.
Trustee Katsinas?
Here.
Trustee Milani?
Here.
Mayor Pico?
Here.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before we commence, tonight's an exciting night. Tonight, Suncom is live streaming our board meeting for the first time. It's been a long road since my first board meeting, when there was no live feed at all. First, we were able to get live audio, then Facebook Live. The new live streaming should resolve the audio issues and improve our video. I want to thanks to all of the Board of Trustees that are here tonight, plus Dave Buick, our CTO, and our interim village manager, Tom Dubleby, for the help in getting this done. All of you should be commended for improving the transparency for the village and for our residents. We will be providing this live web video streaming via our YouTube channel, and you can access those on the village's homepage by clicking the Watch Village Managers Meetings Live link, or by subscribing to the Village of Orland Park's YouTube channel. So that's for future reference, because anyone who's not on it tonight won't get that reading, but anyone who's here, that's how you can get to it. So with that, let's move forward with the agenda.
Approval of the July 15, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of July 15, 2019.
Second.
Any changes? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Approval of the August 5th, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Calandrello.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustee minutes of August the 5th, 2019.
Second.
Any changes? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge? Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Veterans Commission appointment.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to advise and consent the appointment of Teresa Hartman as voting member and Dale Carver as chairman of the Veterans Commission.
I second that.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. And now I will swear Mrs. Hartman in. I want to thank Teresa for volunteering to step up to fill a vacancy on our Veterans Commission. We really appreciate all of our commissioners and the time they spend volunteering, and the Veterans Commission in particular does a lot of work volunteering for our vets, so thank you.
Proclamation honoring Martin Implement as Orland Park Business of the Month.
So, as you may be aware, we started a Business of the Month, and that the mayor's office chooses. In this case, we chose Martin Implement, who's been here for a while, and I think they're in their third location in Orland Park. Whereas Orland Park's Martin Implement first opened in 1945 by Walter Martin, and whereas in 1957, Art Novak purchased interest in Martin Implement while working as a shop apprentice since 1950, whereas by 1964, Art was the president and sole owner until 1999 when he retired. And whereas in the early 1980s, Art's three sons, Tom, Bob, and Bruce, came on board, and today Tom serves as president, Bob is vice president, and Bruce is secretary. Each is involved in the day-to-day operations. And whereas Steve Martin, whose first position was as an apprentice mechanic in 1971, is now the general manager and part owner of Martin Implement. And whereas there are 3 locations today, 50 employees overall, and 30 employees in Orland Park operating within 35,000 square feet of space. And whereas Martin Implement sells and rents construction turf and turf equipment to municipalities, IDOT, towns, cities, villages, parks, big and small construction projects, and residential owners. And whereas Martin Implement is a family business that takes pride in offering excellent customer service and only the best equipment, including Hyundai, Kubota, New Holland, Toro, Allied, and Wacker-Neuson. And whereas Martin Implement has dedicated employees who work as a team, with Tom overseeing the sales department, Bob is responsible for the rental department, and Bruce is involved daily in the financials and marketing. And whereas Martin Implement also has a second location in South Elgin and their third location in Wakanda. And now therefore I, Keith Peacock, the village president of the Village of Orland Park, Illinois, and the counties of Cook and Will, do hereby extend the gratitude of the entire community to Martin Implement for more than 40 years of serving the community, and hereby proclaim Monday, August 19th, 2019 as Martin Implement Day in the Village of Orland Park. Congratulations. Anybody here from Martin Implement? And this is their third location in Orland Park? Actually, fourth location in Orland Park, and they have expanded out into the Will County portion of Orland Park, where the taxes are a little less. Yeah. Trustees, have anything you want to say? Congratulations. Next. Go ahead.
Special recognition of former interim assistant village manager, Deputy Chief Joe Mitchell.
And for this, I would like to turn it over to the interim village manager.
Former interim assistant village manager Joseph Mitchell, come forward and be recognized. Stand tall. So, on this solemn occasion, I bestow upon you the title of Sir, Master, Master of the Realm, and on this day forward you shall be known as Sir Master and referred to as Hero of the Realm. We bestow upon you a special medallion so people will know exactly who you are. Be advised that I have no authority to bestow this honor upon you. There's no lasting benefit to this honor other than the acknowledgement of a job extremely well done, and that honor may soon be forgotten. Joe, it is with great pleasure that the Board of Trustees and the staff acknowledge and commend the excellent work done by you during your time as interim assistant village manager. Your leadership and approach in tackling challenges cannot be overstated, from your extensive work on the internal investigation to identifying and resolving critical challenges. Your Velvet Club approach to handling personnel issues are on par with a mother tendering to the needs of her children. The positive and lasting effects you've had on the village manager's office and the organization as a whole will be forever appreciated. And as a token of my personal appreciation, I know you're a bit of a history buff. I stood on the water line about 7:30 in the morning at Omaha Beach and looked at the 150 yards that our troops had to traverse on that day in 1944. I'd like to give this to you as an honor to you being our best first responder. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That's because it's just the same as yours. Yes.
Consent agenda?
Consent agenda. Item A, payroll for August 9th, 2019. Item B, accounts payable from August 6th, 2019 through August 19th, 2019. Item C, an ordinance amending Title 8, Chapter 6 by adding Section 15 to the Orland Park Village Code Prohibited Social Hosting Ordinance. Item D, amendment to the customer agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Gatso, Inc. for red light cameras agreement. Item E, Tyler Technologies Computer-Aided Dispatch and Record System Annual Maintenance Fee Purchase. Item F, Automated Traffic Law Enforcement System Red Light Camera at 159th and 94th Avenue in Orland Park approval. Item G, Public Works Pond Swale Grading Shoreline Stabilization and Stewardship Project, PM 1613. Item H, Turf Mowing RFP 17-12, Contract Extension 2020 and 2021. Item I, Disposal of Village Equipment, Online Auction, Equipment from Public Works, Roberts Davidson Center and Village Hall Ordinance. Item J, Disposal of Scrap Metal Ordinance. Item K, Southwest Conference of Mayors Municipal Auction Disposal of Vehicles and Equipment Ordinance. Item L, Smart Street Lighting Implementation. Item M, Crystal Tree Subdivision Water Main Lines Lining Stage 2 Proposal Award. Item N, Large Water Meter Testing Proposal. Does anybody have anything they'd like to remove from the consent agenda? So I would simply like to remove item F just for some brief comments. So I'll entertain a motion to approve items A through E and G through N
So
of the
moved.
consent agenda.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Caldarella?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Automated Traffic Law Enforcement System Red Light Camera at 159th and 94th Avenue in Orland Park.
I'll entertain a motion. Trustee Katsinas?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the red light camera at 159 and 94th.
So if you could read the motion in the system.
I move to approve the installation of the automatic traffic law enforcement system at the intersection of 159 and 94th Avenue, and to authorize the village manager to execute an agreement with Censo, GATSO, USA, for the installation of the automatic traffic law enforcement system at 159 and 94th, if approved by the village board.
Second.
So the motion has been moved and seconded. I'll make my comments, and if anyone else has anything to add. But the reason I'm making a comment is because I've gotten a few emails regarding approving a red light camera and expressing concerns about this, how this is about revenue, and clearly they don't always listen to the committee meetings. So I want to point out that this is not a revenue. This is not for revenue reasons. That particular intersection has been in the top 5 of our accidents for 5 straight years. And we've had this experience in Harlem with 2 different locations that were also in our top 5 for many years. We put in red light cameras, and basically they moved out of the top 10, except for one time, I think in the last few years, one of them was 8th. So we know there's a lot of accidents here from people running through red lights. The other thing is we do not ticket the rolling reds unless there's a pedestrian in the intersection, or they make absolutely no attempt to stop. So I think there are towns that use it as a use this for revenue generation by writing those kinds of tickets. We do not do that. So this is purely for a safety reason, and we can't man it 24/7. It would require about 5 new officers in order to man one intersection, to man it 24/7, and technology can do it much more cost effectively, and it does have a positive impact. Are there any other comments from the board?
Mayor Pico?
Trustee Dodge.
Just to build on your comments, and as we talked at committee, one of the things that we asked Tim to do is make sure he coordinates with the Public Information Office so people understand this is, as you said, it's not about revenue, it's about safety and the procedures we go through for citation. So I think it's important that we continue to get that out there.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Microsoft Enterprise Agreement?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
I move to approve the procurement of a 3-year Microsoft Enterprise Agreement from CDWG with annual payments of $185,958 for a period of 3 years, plus a 5% contingency for each of the 3 years. Second.
Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
Just if the committee chairman or staff could just touch briefly on this, and then I think we can have an extended conversation at a separate time about this, as we've all broadly talked about where we're going strategically with our IT. This could be an important piece. Just want to make sure it fits with everything we're trying to do.
Yes, it does. The Microsoft Enterprise Agreement is really building the foundation for technology here with the village. It gets us on the right version of the licensing we need for our workstation servers and infrastructure so we can stay current, secure, and functional for the needs of staff. And so this is the first step. As with any building, whether it be software or a structure, you need to start with a solid foundation. And so this agreement with Microsoft puts the village in great position to build upon that foundation and add other technology that will work for staff and for our residents.
Any other comments? I know there were a few questions in committee, and I listened to those, and so I don't really have anything to add. So with that, we'll call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrella?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Fernway Subdivision roadway and ditch grading improvements?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
to approve accepting the bid from Austin Tyler Construction of Elwood, Illinois for the Fernway Subdivision road and ditch grading improvements for 2019 in an amount not to exceed $1,075,669.60, $1,025,669.60 plus $50,000 contingency. And approve accepting the proposal for construction engineering services for Fernway Subdivision roadway, ditch, and ditch grading improvements 2019 from Christopher Burke Engineering LD Limited of Rosemont, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed $86,975, $76,975 plus $10,000 contingency.
I second that.
Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
Certainly an important project. I'm pretty sure this was budgeted, funded, came through the normal process. It just caught my eye at the committee that Austin Tyler, for example, underbid other firms by essentially $19,000 on a $1 million bid. It just caught my eye.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Fenton.
I'd just like to comment and say that there were 3 bids. The bid opening was a sealed bid process, and we don't control the bids, and Austin Tyler was the lowest bidder.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Malani?
Just, a little bit of a history lesson. I think, for years, Austin and Tyler has, been doing work here in Orland Park. In 2014, they were awarded the bid and the process was waived, where they were also given additional work for that year at the year's unit cost. 2015, Austin Tyler was also the lowest bidder. The bidding process was waived and additional work was given to them at that year's unit cost. Also in 2010, Austin Tyler was also selected to do the work where they were the lowest bidder and given extra work, also at the unit cost, just as they were this year as well. So, I don't really see why it's an issue. Maybe they just understand our RFP and bidding processes. Maybe they just have good cost structure and efficiencies which allow them to be competitive in the market and drive good unit pricing. Because I look all over and everywhere I turn, Austin Tyler seems to be doing work in the southwest suburbs.
Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Healy?
I'm not surprised that Austin Tyler was the lowest bidder. As an accountant, I know that they have jobs here in Orland Park that enables them to do things cheaper. When you have employees in the same village, you can share supervision on different jobs and share equipment. You don't have to drive it all the way from Joliet if it's already on site here. I think I'm not surprised that they have some cost savings that essentially get passed on to the citizens of Orland for that. The other thing I just want to point out is that they are a qualified bidder by the state of Illinois, and I think it shows a level of their professionalism, knowledge, and finance capability to do the job. So I'm all for giving them this contract.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Calendro?
Just a very brief, I know we had a spirited discussion about our bidding process in the Finance Committee. So, and this is, I think, the first time you shared us with the bid summary sheet. I think that's a good step, and I think the possible issues we're talking about, I think that's why we need to have that dialogue of our bidding process and stuff like that. So just want to highlight that we addressed it in Finance Committee. We're going to have Anne-Marie come in next committee, or if the board wants to talk about the bidding process and the internal controls, and then we can go from there. So I just want to let people know that we're talking about it and making sure that we're just happy with our decisions. Thank you.
Any other comments? So Trustee Dodge, I'm a little bit confused because it said that you just said that Austin Tyler underbid by $19,000 and it caught your eye, but I listened to the committee meetings last week and I was concerned about a couple of comments that you made. You said the following: I'm just going to call out once again, Austin Tyler comes in tens of thousands of dollars under somebody else on the $1 million bid. Shortly after you added, call me skeptical. Madam Chair, it's magic what happens when you get a $4 million uptick in your business without thinking about it. So I guess my question is there some concern that we need to know about specifically?
It caught my eye.
Well, you said it caught your eye. You also said, that it was under tens of thousands of dollars under someone else's bid on a $1 million bid. Call me skeptical. It sounds like there's some. I just want to be sure there's no concerns that you have that you should be bringing forward.
I'll bring them forward when I'm ready, if I'm ready.
Okay. So I guess my comments would be, there seems to be an insinuation here with those comments, which is, I think, a bit inexcusable for a trustee to do, and those insinuations towards either staff or towards a contractor. So I guess I would just, caution our trustees before doing anything like that. They should specifically identify their reasons. If they have a suspicion of something, they should contact our village manager. If it's about one of the board members, they should bring it forth to the board.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
Since obviously your language about an insinuation was directed at me, I'll say again, if and when I'm ready, I will bring something forth officially. I have just as much right to this microphone. If I express a concern, I express a concern. It is my opinion as a trustee. Pretty simple. I said it publicly. It's on the record.
So I guess my point, because there seems to be a concern, is does staff have any concerns with Austin Tyler delivering this work?
No.
Okay. Has staff had any issues with Austin Tyler's performance in the past?
No.
Was Austin Tyler the low bidder?
They were.
Okay. Since Austin Tyler was the low bidder, had a history of doing quality work and can deliver the work, I don't see any reasons why we wouldn't award them the bid. So that's my position on it. With that, call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello. Aye. Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Bluff Point subdivision revised.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve a site plan, elevations, subdivision with plat, preliminary landscape plan, and special use permit with modifications for Bluff Point subdivision revised, located at 16900 to 17100 Wolf Road, as recommended at the July 16, 2019 Plan Commission meeting and fully referenced below.
Second.
I will just make a summary statement, just because I'm somewhat familiar with the project. I'll let Interim Director Coleman add to it. But I know one of the concerns here are switching from single-family homes to attached single-family homes inside a subdivision that's already been approved. I've addressed that question with Mr. Coleman. The Spring Creek agreement that we have out there gives them the legal right to do that. It would be something normally we would push back on from the village's perspective, but because they have the right to do that, it is a legal position that they can do. So, because I know that question also came up during the committee that was earlier today. So, if you would like to give a summary, Mr. Coleman, of the rest of it.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The petitioner proposes to revise the 2017 approved and partially constructed Bluff Point subdivision by removing 18 of the single-family lots from the approved 49 lots subdivision and replacing them with 9 lots with 9 townhome buildings for a total of 38 townhome units. This is part of an LSPD, which does allow attached single families in the development. It does meet the criteria of our building code, which is Title V, Chapter 1, and our Land Development Code design standards. The elevations meet our criteria. They meet our rules in terms of the masonry. At present, the developer has 3 model homes that have been constructed. 2 lots have been closed, whether it be private or to another developer. And 3 additional homes are currently under construction by another developer on Monarch. There is no change in constructed street network, detention pond, or the floodplain. Some of the units are actually screened by a landscape buffer off of Wolf Road by a floodplain, and detention ponds have been constructed, and the work at Wolf Road is now complete. So they are in they submitted plans to us. We did a first review. Comments went out on August 6th, and those comments are due back to us shortly, in which we'll do a second review for the building, and then issue permits once we have engineering approval.
Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Katsinas.
just want to make a comment about, I think there's going to be an issue down the road with parking. If you look at that kind of density with the limited street parking available both on the 2 inlets on Fox Trail and Glover Drive, it's going to be tight with parking. It would have been nice if a parking lot could have been incorporated for guest parking or overflow with 38 units.
We have the parking requirement requires you to have 2 parking spaces per unit, plus if you have more than 2 bedroom, an additional half a space. The way the present design is incorporated has 2 parking spaces in a enclosed garage and 2 additional parking spaces in front of the unit. So in reality, each unit has 4 parking spaces. So they're providing 2 additional spaces in front of the unit, and that's usually if there's any sort of overflow or the guests coming, they would be able to park in front of the garage. We normally, under the circumstances when reviewing this from zoning compliance, those particular parking spaces will not be considered to meet the criteria of the parking. The enclosed spaces would, so this is considered to be above and beyond what the current code requires by almost a 100% increase.
Any other comments or questions? Tom, I have a question for you. I know there's been an issue with a neighboring property homeowner. Has that issue been resolved?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. Motion carries.
Extension of lines of credit.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Calandrello.
I move to approve the Second Amendment to the Credit Agreement and the Second Amendment to the Revolving Credit Agreement.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
An ordinance providing for the issuance of general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2019.
Ordinance number, please.
5427.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Calandrello.
I move to pass ordinance number 5427 entitled an ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $2,950,000 general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2019 of the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, for the purpose of refunding certain outstanding bonds of said village, providing for the levy and the collection of a direct annual tax for the payment of the principal of and interest on said bonds, authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser therefore, and authorizing the execution of a bond order and escrow letter agreement in connection therewith.
Second?
Are there any questions or comments?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Healy.
I'd like to ask Anne Marie, how much is this going to save the village?
The estimated savings as of now is about $63,000 in future interest costs.
I think it's a great idea. So thank you for getting that going.
And could you please just give us a quick summary of what we're doing here so people understand we're not taking out new debt?
Yeah, so we have some bonds that are outstanding that were issued actually back in 2002 to fund construction of the library. We previously refunded those with the 2010 series, and we were Spear Financial, who Kevin McCanna from Spear is here if you guys have any additional questions, had approached us with a refunding opportunity. So this is kind of like refinancing the mortgage on your home. We're going to refund bonds that are already outstanding by issuing new bonds that carry a lesser interest rate. And over the next 3 years, that's all that's left on the life of the bonds. We'll save about $63,000 in interest costs.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
Question for staff. Anne Marie, what was the original rate and then what are we getting? I know that generally it's a favorable interest rate climate for us.
Yeah, so the rate on the original 2002 bonds, I am not sure of, but the rate on the bonds that we're refunding right now, the average coupon is 3.4%. We've got coupons here estimated at, between 1.65 and 1.7. So
which is
significantly less.
What is a great interest rate given kind of where we are financially, which is we're in great shape.
We're in great shape.
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Calandrello.
Just want to thank staff for being a good advocate and making sure we can do these when we do these. I know it feels like every month or every year we have these all the time. So saving some money and it makes sense. I just want to appreciate our team for everything they do with this. Thank you.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Amendment Title 7, Chapter 4, number of Class A liquor license.
Ordinance number, please.
5428.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
Move to pass ordinance 5428 entitled, an ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 4 of the Orland Park Village Municipal Code regarding the available number of Class A liquor licenses issued by the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will County, Illinois.
Second.
And just so everyone understands, this is because Anthony's Coal Fire Pizza closed, and they didn't close because Orland Park was a bad location. They pulled out of Illinois completely. Orland Park was actually their #1 location in Illinois. So they had a change of philosophy in their whole business plan. But this is to lower our liquor licenses because they've pulled out, so there's not an open one. Any other questions or comments? Call a roll.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Calendrello?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Robinson Engineering Contract Interim Staffing Services for Development Services.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani?
I move to approve a budget adjustment to the general fund in the amount of $102,000 and to retain interim staffing services from Robinson Engineering for a not-to-exceed amount of $102,000 for services through October 31st, 2019.
Second.
Before we go into questions and comments, Tom, could you explain this and the rationale?
Yes, I can. Our Development Services Department has been understaffed for quite a while, and there's quite a backlog of projects where they need help. I also think it's probably in our best interest to start reviewing some of the processes in the department, as well as some of our codes and ordinances and our fee structures. So the primary intent is to bring in help so we can get to the backlog and get them up to date. While there have been several new staff members added to development services over the last several weeks, we're still behind, and this will give us an opportunity to catch up. It'll also give us an opportunity to kind of review our own processes, our fee structures, and other items to make sure they're more efficient, or they're efficient and they're fair. And they'll come back to us with recommendations that the board will be able to consider at a future date. So basically, the intent is to bring in reinforcements for development services, get us up to the point so we're providing services in a reasonable time frame for our clients.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge?
A couple of questions for Village Manager Dooley. Tom, I certainly understand that we might be short-staffed, and it looks like they're going to do multiple things. So is the primary focus for them to do some of the work, and is this staff augmentation, or are we trying to re-architect the department, given your last comment?
To re-architect the department will be up to the new development director when they come in. You know, we're still in the process of searching for one. We're about to re-advertise. They are going to come in and augment our staff and help us reduce the workload so that we can catch up and move forward more efficiently and effectively.
All right, I guess, well, I think this will be my second and final comment. You know, make it a compound question for that reason, Tom. You know, if you said we need to bring some help in, I certainly could understand that argument. Your last comment led me to believe that they're also going to be looking at policies and processes and whatnot, and that's something I'd prefer to wait till we get a new director in place permanently. So this, I don't know if I agree with the scope of work. That's comment number one. Question that I would ask you would be, it looks like you solicited Robinson Engineering and they came back with $102,000 proposals. Were other engineering firms approached to bid on this?
No.
Thank you.
Tom, just correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you told me you looked at one other and they couldn't staff it currently.
Correct.
So you did look somewhere else, but they couldn't
I did, but they didn't
accommodate.
provide a proposal or any pricing.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Malani?
A question for Village Manager Dooley will be, have we used Robinson Engineering in the past, and have they done good work for us?
It's been a very long time. I can't tell you exactly when. Their reputation is outstanding in the industry.
Any other questions or comments? So Tom, I have a couple of questions. One is, how many people are we down? I think we were down about 9 people. Now we're down, what, 7 or so in the department?
Less than that.
We were down approximately 8, Mr. Mayor. We are down a director, a planner 1, and that is presently all that we need at the time. We do have a position, the utility infrastructure inspector, vacated by Mr. Brian Cassidy, that we cannot fill, but is still in the budget until January 1. Okay. So we're down roughly 2 to 3 positions. I have filled 6 to 7.
Okay. And our backlog's pretty significant, as I understand, because we were short so many people for so long. So this is a temporary solution to try and just get this, if you will, the constipation out of the system?
Correct. We'll look at it month by month to see how they've addressed the backlog, where we're at. So it's a not to exceed contract. We'll certainly monitor it monthly. And if we get to the point where we've caught up with the workload, then we can start doing the work with our own staff. Okay.
And to Trustee Dodge's comments about the processes, I'm just guessing here, but correct me if my assumption here is correct, that the comments as far as process and procedures would be Robinson Engineering, just a fresh set of eyes. If they see something that they've seen done in a different way, somewhere else that they think might be better, they're just going to let us know what that might be, just to give us some options, which not bad to, if they're here, they might as well give us give us their thoughts. Was that the intent?
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
I actually have no problem making a budget amendment to bring in some help to get the work done. I'd be concerned about the scope of work drifting off into something that, quite frankly, I don't support at this moment. If we're going to bring in, and we will, a new director, and he's going to have to rebuild the team and take a look at everything, great, then let's have that as a separate conversation. If we want, I don't know, pick a number, 50 grand for staff augmentation just focused on clearing out the backlog, I'm happy to support that.
So Tom, again, correct me if I'm wrong, they are focused on staff augmentation. The piece about process is just, since they're here, they're going to just let you know what they see.
The primary focus
They're not looking at that, as a primary focus. Their focus is to augment our staff. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence.
Trustee Dodge.
I plan on voting no because the village manager clearly said it was a broader scope than just staff augmentation. I want to be emphatically clear. I'm happy to support dollars to bring in staff to clear out the backlog. If we're going to start taking on systematic reviews of policies and processes, then let's do that in a systematic, thoughtful way. Nothing against Robinson Engineering. As Tom said, and I think you said, they do have a great reputation. My concern here, my no vote will be simply the way we're doing this.
So, Village Manager Dubelby, I know that it's not an important part of the scope. Can you just take that scope out of the contract, and it's not going to, I'm sure it's not going to change the price. If anything, it'll lower it, but it's probably going to keep it the same because that price is based on staff augmentation.
Yes, we'll remove that from the scope, and we'll ask them to revisit the pricing.
So I will entertain a motion to amend the scope of the proposal to eliminate any feedback on processes.
So moved.
Second.
Do I have any other comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Calangelo.
I just want to thank staff. I know Development Services is...
Well, first we got to talk about the amendment. Any questions or comments about that?
No, we saved that for the real vote.
Okay, so all in favor of amending the motion?
I have a comment.
Trustee Healy?
So if they see something that needs correcting or whatever, or needs a better idea or whatever, they're using their professional opinion, they will still provide that.
They're a very professional company. Even if we remove that portion from the scope of work, if they see something that they think we should be aware of, I'm sure they'll bring it to our attention, but it will not be part of the scope.
Thank you.
Any other comments on the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries to amend the motion 7-0. Any other comments or question on the main motion?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Calendrillo.
Thank you. I just want to thank the Development Services for their hard work. I know they're severely understaffed, so I just want to thank them for their hard work. I'm going to be voting yes because I do think you guys are drinking out of the fire hose or whatever analogy you want to know or want to use. But I want to thank, I know people listen to this, you guys are doing a good job. You just don't have the people power. So, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? So the motion is, or the question is put as amended to the board. Call a roll.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Calendrillo.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye. And just as a side note, Tom, I'd like to thank you and thank Development Services for identifying you have a problem that, because we've been short-staffed, it's becoming an issue that we just cannot solve internally, and coming up with a solution to fix the problem so that we provide best services to our residents. And it's a temporary fix, but it's something that we can go out and take care of. So I appreciate that, that you guys doing that. Appreciate it. Are there any visitors that wish to come speak? Nobody signed in? Okay. Board comments? Trustee Fenton?
Yes, I'm very excited this evening to make a major announcement that Museum Curator and Stellwagen Liaison Sarah worked with the Stellwagen Family Farm Foundation and members of the Stellwagen family, and we submitted an application for the 2019 Landmarks Illinois Preservation Award. Each year, Landmarks Illinois honors 9 outstanding examples of excellence in Illinois historic preservation by this award. A generous grant from Richard Dewey Foundation enables the Landmarks Illinois to award these different projects. Last week, we learned that the Stellwagen Farm was chosen to be one of the winners. Not only will the farm get a grant to put towards projects, but we will also be awarded a trophy. This also gives us a wonderful recognition for the farm, opening up future opportunities for grants, and lets us complete the rest of our restoration projects. The grant dollar amount was $1,000, but it's opening up major doors for us to apply for further grants. And at this time, I'd also really like to thank the Stellwagen family members, because they were the ones that did all the restoration on all of the outbuildings and brought them up to date to where they are today, and they've done a fabulous job out there. They even had a family wedding out there in June, which was wonderful. Currently, we're working on a couple projects out there through the Stellwagen Farm Foundation, and looking forward to the day that we can open it up as a working farm. There will be tours in September and October that are open to the public.
Thank you, Trustee Fenton, and congratulations. And I know we're putting in for some more grants from them as well, so hopefully this gives us a leg up on that. Mm-hmm. Trustee Dodge. And also for the next board meeting, can we make sure that we've got these lights fixed so we can actually see up here? That'd be great. It's getting darker earlier, and we know our meetings tend to run a little long, and it's not even 8 yet.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, can I just make one other comment?
Sure, Trustee.
Sorry, Trustee Dodge. I'd also like to thank Interim Director Mike Coleman for all the work he's done upstairs in Development Services, coordinating staff up there, getting everything organized. It's more of a warm and fuzzy feeling up there now with the employees, and good luck in getting the last of your employees up there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Dodge.
Couple things. One, I was going to ask staff if the low lighting is an attempt to control the shine, perhaps off of both Trustee Malani's head and my head, but I wasn't sure. So hopefully we can address that going forward. And, every now and then a long drive will kind of remind you about all the good things you have in your community. We just got back from the Outer Banks of North Carolina yesterday, and you get a chance to drive through a fair number of communities. And every time I do one of these types of trips, I appreciate what we've built and what we will continue. What we have built in Orland Park is a place to live and work and build a life, and what we're going to continue to build going forward. And encouraging to see that we have the financial ratings from the agencies to be able to command such a pretty low cost of money. So that's great to hear. So I appreciate what we do in terms of the refinance. Thank you.
Trustee Calendrillo.
No comments, thank you.
Trustee Healy.
over one of the most important duties we have as trustees is to select a village manager. And I just wanted to say that it's been awesome to see this whole board up here.
Trustee Healy, you should probably not make any comments about our village manager selection since we haven't actually
it's not about a selection, it's a selection process.
Okay.
It has been awesome to see how everybody has pulled together, and if and when we select that village manager, it'll be, don't worry about that. So, but you often see bickering and things like that. When we pull together, it's really an awesome thing. Everybody here, I saw everybody contribute to it, and it's, and thanks to Greg and Tom too for being part of that, but I'm not about to, we're far from making any announcement. I'm not as dumb as I. Thank you.
Didn't think you were dumb, but inexperienced. Just wanted to make sure that nothing was said that we can't say.
Don't take that for granted, okay. So.
How often do you get called inexperienced anymore?
I don't know. It's running out of time. I only have so long to do that. So.
Trustee Katsinas.
I just wanted to say a reminder about the upcoming concerts. August 24th, I had the pleasure of meeting Kathy Richardson. Thank you, Mr. Solek. We went up to Fitzgerald and we did a little promo, and that woman's voice is just incredible. I mean, to witness that in person, she was really, really awesome. So super excited for the concert. If you haven't bought tickets, tickets are still available. It's going to be a great night, August 24th. Thank you.
Trustee Milani.
I also am looking forward to the concert. We're doing really well with the ticket sales. Get them while they're hot, because they're not going to last long. Also had a good time at Cookout with the Cops tonight. Tomorrow's Cones with Cops. There's a lot of great things going on here in Orland Park. But I'll tell you what, I haven't been up here long, but I observe that we're always trying to continue improving our processes and being more efficient with things. And what I know for sure is that arguing about the process and arguing about Austin Tyler just needs to end. As all we're doing is wasting time, resources, and the energy of too many people. I think as Trustee Dodge has mentioned in one of his articles in his newspaper, is this how you want to do things? I've only been up here since May 6th, and it's already getting old. And I hope this stops now, really, so that our time and the public's time isn't wasted for the next year and 3/4 on these types of things.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Trustee Dodge.
Mr. Milani, I think we are both big fans of the First Amendment. God bless America.
Okay, so I'm going to move forward and make my comments. I want to thank the police again for a great cookout with the cops today. For those of you who made it over, I appreciate it. I believe, Trustee Milani, you made it over. Also, thank you to Cacao Coffee, or Cafe, for hosting the Meet the Mayor's Coffee on Friday. Over 20 residents came out. They asked a ton of questions for an hour and a half. It was great. It was informative. Join us at the next one. It's a great opportunity to have all your questions answered about the village. Reminder again, Cones with the Cops is tomorrow night at Andy's Frozen Custard. Also, we are working for this weekend where, if you believe in miracles, we are laying it on the line for a concert August 24th, featuring Jefferson Starship and Loverboy. I am sure that we will be turning it loose and loving every minute of it. When it's over, as long as you don't overindulge, I promise you'll be able to find your way back to where you parked. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
motion to go into executive session for A, approval of minutes, B, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific village employees, C, collective negotiating matters between the village and its employees or representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, D, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the village, and E, setting the price for sale or lease of village property.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Milani.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.